everybody what's happening. This is today on the 23rd of April, 2020. This is another The Bobby Buck Show podcast, Zoom check-in number 4. This is a 4th check-in. And what I do with these shows, I mainly just want to bring groups of people together from diverse people to communicate, speak about the coronavirus and what's going on in their community. You know, most people I'm around in the community of Skid Row, but I see we got one person from the East Coast, and so they're gonna break down what's going on their side, in their neck of the woods, and we ought to go get people together so we can communicate and talk about what's happening, and also be able to talk about solutions of what we can do to help each other cope with what we're going through. And for that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let Miss Big Mama Angela Harper take it over, and she's gonna be the facilitating, and she's gonna introduce herself, and then she's gonna let everybody else introduce themselves so y'all can get acquainted with these people and who they are. So take it over, Big Mama.
All righty now. My name is Angela Harper, aka Big Mama. I am part of Industrial District Green, which is Catherine Magnini. And also I run an outreach called Love is the Key Forever. Okay, to the next person, please introduce yourself.
I'm Adam Rice. I'm with the Los Angeles Community Action Network, and I'm also the program coordinator for radiojustice.org.
Next person, please.
So tell us about who you are, Dr. Mary.
I'm a rehabilitation psychologist in Syracuse, New York, and I've been friends online with a number of people in your area, namely Angelia Harper, Bobby Buck, I think Uncle Bean. I've heard of most of you in different posts that I've read. So it's very nice to have an opportunity to connect with all of you in person.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Lee Beck. I'm with Public Works Improvisational Theater Company, and I've been doing theater in LA and poetry readings and stuff like that for 100 years. And I'm really happy to be here with you guys. I'm good friends with Bobby and with Melvin Ishmael Johnson, another good buddy of mine. So, glad to be here.
Wow. Okay. Oh, are you on?
Yes, I am. I'm Olusheyi Banjo. I'm a minister, entertainer, and entrepreneur, and I'm also a longtime resident of Skid Row. Just happy to be here. And I'm friends with everybody who's been here, I think.
Well, I'm sure he'll get back on here. Dr. Mary, what has been your experience with the COVID-19 where you are?
Well, I'm located in New York State, which is, awful here. So, it's really hard to hear all of this conversation about this is a hoax and so forth, because it certainly isn't here. We've had thousands of people dying here, and I'm not in the city itself, though. I'm located in the Syracuse, New York area, fortunately, where, we don't have such horrendous risk, but, it's been truly horrible, and people are very, very frightened. And I'm assuming that they are where you are as well.
I want to hear from Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam said he got a lot cracking. He's doing a lot of good stuff right now. Yeah, so
I'm here.
Yeah.
We finally adjusted around LA Can to working out of the office and out of home. We've begun food distribution, which is kind of new to us. We do that every Wednesdays and Saturday at 11 a.m. So, if people are in the Skid Row area, let them know. We're still moving on our legal clinic. We got 3 months after the lifting of the emergency order that people can't file evictions. After that, I put it this way, the city's numbers say there's 680,000 people in LA that pay more than 80% of their income for rent. So it's going to be a damn apocalypse. So we need to be ready for that and have our lawyers on that to really flood that court system. And because I don't think the city council is going to do jack shit for any sort of rental assistance. If they do, it's not going to be enough. Federal government is not going to do nothing. So it's going to be us. We're going to have to pull some 1930s stuff. We're going to have to keep people in their houses. We're going to have to make these landlords afraid to fuck around. At the same time, you know, a lot of our smaller landlords are going to lose their land. So we're trying to preserve black wealth and sort of ease out the corporate cast, which, you know, I mean, especially after 2008, they came in and snatched up most of South Central. That's why it's called South LA now. So, you know, I mean, so we're trying to prevent that here. Also, we're trying to give coverage from around the country and around the world on radiojustice.org. Brand new for the beginning of Ramadan tomorrow, brand new Liberated Sisters and all kinds of stuff. I mean, just trying to get the word out. And that's pretty much what we're doing, you know, just trying to stay alive, trying to make sure the whole community stay alive.
Okay, I understand that. Mr. Boek?
Beck.
It's Beck.
Yes.
Why is it I see it? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
B-O-E-K, but it's pronounced Beck.
Oh, okay.
Like he's Buck, I'm Beck.
All right.
We got to get out of this show. The Buck and Beck.
Beck and Buck.
Mr. Beck.
Buck and Beck.
It's your
Anyway,
turn.
yeah, well, I'm old, so I'm considered highly vulnerable. I've had a couple of heart attacks, and I have asthma. So I've been laying pretty low. I'm on the computer a lot, relating to a lot of people. I'm on the phone a lot to family and friends who are going through it, and just trying to be supportive of people and to, give good advice and try to help people get what they need and connect them with people who can help them and that sort of thing. And then I've been doing some performance on various Zoom events. I do stories and poems and stuff like that. And I don't know, it seems like I keep quite busy, even though I'm, and also my house burned down 3 years ago. So I'm in a little flat and I'm trying to get out of here. My house has been hung up because of the coronavirus, getting back into it, and because of my insurance company, and because of the contractor who rebuilt it. But anyway, that's all a long story. But it's been 3 years since my house burned, and I may be able to get back in the next few weeks. But I am fortunate that I have a house, which I bought back in 1978 or 9 or something, before properties went way up. So it's in Silver Lake, so that's where I live. And I've had my theater company for 40 years. I've been in it for 40 years, and it's about 50 years old. So I know a lot of the folks in the town, all over town, and I try to participate as best I can, but I do try to stay out of traffic and stay laying low. And
I heard that.
that's about all I got to say.
Oh, your mic is off.
Whose mic's off?
Oh,
Yes,
you
now
got
it's
it
on.
on now.
Yes.
So, Mr. Banjo, tell us about how COVID-19 is affecting you.
Well, I'm pretty much on the road. The only time I go out is when I go to work. But I still have to go to work because I'm doing security. I was like, dang, I'm going to stay home. But it's also affecting my family too, because 2 of my cousins have passed away from COVID-19. And so we're trying to, it's really hard because we're used to having funerals. We can't do funerals because of this. So it's affecting us hard, but I'm laying low. I'm trying to mind my own business. And I'm also doing Zoom calls for my church and my friends, trying to talk to them and stay close to them as much as possible.
Good.
I heard that. And with myself, I've been doing everything from home. The last time I was on Skid Row was 2 weeks, about 2 weeks now. And I was just utterly devastated by me seeing how the city is treating the homeless on Skid Row. And even in my area, because I live in Koreatown, it's just bad. just, it doesn't make any sense. There are people out here walking around with the coronavirus and they cannot get medical attention. No one is out trying to find out. They're putting everything voluntary. There are people on Skid Row that don't understand nothing about a voluntary thing. Okay, that's number one. There have been some issues that have came across me about getting some people tested, and when they went, and it already had, they'd already folded everything up. This virus has just steamrolled my life into being in my apartment, because I also have some underlying health issues and it would not be good. But from the understanding that I have from my own doctor, I've already had coronavirus. So, and
I think a lot of people got it. I think a lot of people got it about last February. There were a lot of people with the flu, and some of them must have been coronavirus.
Well, I had it in December.
Uh-huh.
And it lasted all the way to the beginning of March.
Wow.
So I really was in a bad situation because I had already came back in November and already had the flu. So it just piggybacked on what I already had.
Did you ever get tested?
Yeah, what happened was when I got back in November, my doctor ran a series of tests because I kept telling them about how I was feeling.
Uh-huh.
And he said, well, okay, we're going to run this test. Then I had to go back and they ran some more labs. I didn't find out everything until January, what was really going on with me.
And they said it was the coronavirus?
Oh, yeah, I had the virus. The antibody showed up. Oh, yeah, I had it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But I was almost on the verge of pneumonia. The only thing that I kept telling them, I felt like I was drowning. So I started just doing old school. I got that Vicks out and hit the thing and did what I needed to do because I'm like, I can't live like this.
The Vicks help?
But there's other people are not that fortunate.
Did the Vicks help?
Well, I found out one of the main things about if you start feeling sick, that you need to automatically get medication that will open up your lungs and medication to clear your sinuses.
Yeah.
I do know that.
They say hot drinks is real good.
Right. And that was another thing because I do tea 2 or 3 times a day.
They said hot drinks every 20 minutes is good when you got it.
Yeah, and I also have a cousin who's a fitness trainer, and okay, and you sounding that way too for some reason. Maybe because a lot of people on here, but what I was going to say is I have a cousin that's a fitness trainer, and he also said that when you boil the water with the oranges and the onions, that helps out.
I can't understand.
Yeah, oranges and onions.
I have asthma, and I've always had good luck with coffee. When I'm having a hard time breathing, that helps.
Okay.
You know, it's crazy to hear you say that, Sister Harbor. Like, because we had a couple of members that went through that same thing all through December. Were sick for like 3 weeks, and most of them haven't gotten tested. You know, and that's what we were suspecting it was. You know. I mean, we've seen, but there's been reinfection in South Korea and China, so I'm not sure how this thing is working, you know? This is kind of crazy. Usually you get sick, you good for the year or something. I don't know what's up with this thing.
Right. I mean, for me to be sick all the way from the end of November to the beginning of March, I'm like, it was just hitting me back to back. And I'm like, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. I'm very grateful because I could think about the other people that didn't make it. But it was due to the fact that I used my brain and was like, well, if this is really a virus that I'm suffering with, let me work on how to actually get rid of this virus. The T, the Vicks, I got an inhaler. I did Mucinex. That was the good part. Using the Mucinex and drinking tea.
What is Mucinex?
Mucinex, it loosens up the mucus that's congested within your esophagus and your lungs.
Is that called Mucinex?
No, it's Mucinex.
Mucinex.
Yeah. And it does. Yeah, it worked real good. I didn't know it worked that good though. Shoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know. You know.
So with this going on, I know that a lot of us work with the homeless. I haven't been able to be outside and down on Skid Row because of the issue that I'm finding out, because I have people that talking to me on regular that are informing me that there are people down there that are sick on the street.
Well, you don't need to be around that when you've already had it and everything too.
I don't need, look, my defense mechanisms right now is not good for Skid Row, because when I did go down there, I had on a military poncho and boots and sweatpants, face mask, the whole thing. I had the goggles on because I just could not subject myself to getting sick. Especially when I found out that I could get sick again from that virus. So I'm like, I can't take no chances on nothing. But
It does happen. I've heard of it happening.
Nah, I mean that's real. Like our city council has completely failed. They went on a 3-week recess. They haven't housed anybody. They're talking all this stuff about hotel rooms and and taking over city properties to put people in. That was at the beginning. They think we forgot, you know. And I mean, we should all remember this is an election year. We should make these cats feel this pain. I mean, the only one that it actually pains me to say this because I really don't get along with dude, but the only one that seems to be doing their job is Marquise. Like, I'm calling all over South LA. I'm calling all over Watts. And I had a lot of people telling me that, like, you know, like that CD8 is giving out food. They're trying to make sure there's testing. That's the only city councilman I've heard of that's doing his job. So he gonna get my vote this year. That's for sure. You know.
What's his name?
Marquise Harris Dawson.
Because the rest of them is just nowhere to be seen at all. It's just pathetic to be going through all this madness. So,
I don't know.
are you still here?
Hello?
Hello?
Did Dr. Mary Lee?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Okay, Uncle Bean there.
I hear you, Uncle Bean. Get your nose off the screen.
That's my ear because I can't hear.
Oh, that's your ear.
I was wondering what that was. I was like, huh?
I'm like,
Yeah, the
is it a
earphone.
nose?
You know what I mean? I ain't
I
got the
finally figured
earphone,
out
so,
it was his ear.
like when I talk, I can go and
We
project
get,
my voice and everything. But
there's a lot of
when I listen, I
distortion.
got to put the phone to my ear to hear y'all.
He can hear you good.
Yeah, so explain to people who you are, what's going on with coronavirus down you in Skid Row.
All right, my name is Uncle Bean, Lorenzo Poncello Hollis. I'm a member of the Skid Row community, been a member for over 20 years. And coronavirus is just like basically every systematic design or biochemical warfare to make people subject, conform, program, population control. I should have said that. My apologies, but that's the reality. Everybody gonna start paying their taxes. That's for sure.
Truth, so
Everything gonna soon be digital.
you're not the
The
only
old way of
person
the dollar
that is
and the
thinking.
coin will be obsolete. It's gonna be what you got on that card, what you got on that chip. You got a chip on your shoulder, get the chip off your shoulder, because they're gonna fuck around and put it in your shoulder or your fingertips. So it's a big power play, I would say. That's what it is. And for the most part, while I got life, I'm gonna say celebrate life. While I got life, I'm gonna say celebrate life and be aware. Be aware.
Yep.
We are strong. We're gonna continue to work together. We're gonna continue to move as a collective. People of God, chosen people of God. That's the way anybody want to put it. And you know, for the most part, that establishment has been established for so long. All these plans and all these moves that have been made on the board are, you know what I'm saying, it's been strategically made. So when you think about that, you know what I'm saying, moving with strategy, that the multitude, you know what I'm saying, are oblivious to how motherfucker moves because they so many steps behind. And when you talk about African Americans, black people, you know what I'm saying, us, we are behind, even though we in the front, we are behind because we basically eradicated all the motherfucking conditioned us and all the things and the powers in which we have. And you want to maintain superiority, the powers that be, so to speak. I just said the powers that be. But at the same time, there's so many different awakenings that take place within us. You know, like a lot of us, we don't know how we fighting off motherfucking corona, or fighting off corona. We just being natural at a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Majority of the time. You know? Just being natural. So therefore it's being natural, naturally, it's kind of like when you think about how Western physicians always try to figure out Eastern physicians and how they can figure out how to attack this and attack that. How, you know what I'm saying, Haitians and, you know what I'm saying, Ethiopians, Somalians, how they have all these remedies. Dr. Sebi, all these different things. And they wonder how the fuck we know it. And we naturally can do what the fuck we do. And they can't. So more so that's what they do. They teeth off everything from us. But then at the same time, I wouldn't doubt if the virus itself is not created by us. When I say created, I mean actually created. Manufactured in a lab like the work of Yaku.
Well, yeah, that's
I
understandable.
would say this, at the end of the day, we still have life while we have life celebrated. You know, one thing guaranteed in life is death. And I celebrate y'all lives. I celebrate everybody's lives every day. And I love humanity. I love the world. I'm pro-life. I'm not pro-death.
I heard that.
So again, celebrate life, everybody.
So, but thank you, Bing.
Yeah.
No problem on it.
How is it? How is this COVID-19 affecting you?
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Buck.
Oh, you're talking to me. Well, how it's affecting me? Well, I tell people my glass is half full, and I'm not tripping, really, because I'm relaxed. I'm taking it as a vacation, and also what I've been telling people, rather it's man-made or random. To me, it's like its own revolution and / evolution.
All right.
at the same time, because through revolution, things change and shut down and people die. And then through evolution, things have to change and move on. And what it's doing to me is expediting what people been knowing was coming. It just made it happen quicker. You know, as far as like being creative and all that. And then on the revolution part, there's a lot of people right now who are going through it who used to point and laugh at people in Skid Row. They used to talk about them homeless people. But now, at this very moment, they're feeling the essence of how that is.
Okay.
They
That
feel
is
it.
so true.
They may feel a lot more when they find themselves on the streets too, with the way things are
But-
going.
And a lot of them don't realize that.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't. They like, it's still it's not me.
I think that's a good area to put energy in, is in preparation for a time when they're, you know, because we're not going to have as much food in the markets for quite a while as we're used to.
You're right.
And we may not have access to it. So, you know, we got to figure out how to get those kind of, that kind of access to food for everybody. And that's going to be hard. We got, you know, farmers plowing the food under in various parts instead of getting it out to the people. And you know, gas has plunged way down low. So, you know, we're not driving around now that we have the least pollution that we've had in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
And,
Yes,
you know, we're facing the climate change is a big deal. And this is, you know, in a sense, it's connected with that, I think, in that it gives you a good idea of, you know, what lies ahead for our children, unless some major changes are made in our societies.
Dr. Mary, how about you?
Can you hear
your
me?
mic is off. I can hear you,
Yes.
but her
Everybody
mic
can
is
hear
off.
No, she got two.
Going over here. Whoops.
Yeah, go ahead and speak.
I just lost it.
Okay. Well, I'm in the high-risk group, you know, just like Angelia. I mean, due to my age, and also, you know, anybody as old as I am has various underlying health problems. So, you know, I've been stuck inside for, well, this is the 5th week. And I just went out yesterday and the day before to pick up a takeout meal at a restaurant because I just couldn't stand eating my own cooking for this long.
Well, yeah. I ain't had it.
But I do have a mask and I wear gloves and I have a can of Lysol by the front door. So as soon as I come back, I spray everything, including my mask, and wash my hands and spray everything I bought, you know. I think I'm doing things right because I'm not sick, but I have been speaking with people who are sick. You know, Bobby Buck joined a conversation I had yesterday with a woman who is sick in New York City, and she described being very sick, sleeping 18 hours a day. I said she never was so sick in her whole life. Nausea, diarrhea, losing her sense of smell. Her husband's sick as well. And she sounded very fatigued to me on the video. So, and then I spoke with another woman over the weekend describing the same thing, you know, just incredible level of sickness. So, you know, they're describing what Angelia has described here. So I think people need to be taking it very seriously.
They should, but it's a lot of them that are not. Even I left out of here to help my daughter get to the laundromat, and there were people outside talking, all hugged up on each other, no mask, no gloves, and I'm like, okay, so the next time I see you will be when? At the emergency room or at your gravesite.
Sophie.
Because you not
I have friends who are not taking this seriously either.
Sophie.
They're trying to get me to go be around them, and I say no.
Your mask.
I say no. Only place I'm going to is work and coming back home because I don't have the option of staying home and getting money
But it really makes me feel mad and kind of sad at the same time that people aren't really taking it seriously as they should.
Yeah, I agree.
It's crazy. They won't. My cousin, one of my cousins that passed away, she was only 32 years old. I had told her, take it seriously, take it seriously. She didn't take it seriously, and now where's she at? The grave.
In the grave.
Oh man.
Which is sad.
Hey,
Which
she was
is sad.
Only 32?
32?
32.
Did she have any underlying health issues or?
No, she was healthy. She was just doing her thing, living her life. Partying all the time, drinking, having fun. And then that's me. So I was like, oh, okay.
Not taking it serious.
Not taking it serious. And a lot of people my age and younger are not really taking it seriously because they feel like they're invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing that that superhero mentality.
Yeah.
But since this has happened, what do y'all take on if it happens to be another disaster with this? Because here in California, we have been getting a succession of small earthquakes for the past 2 weeks.
Yes.
So what if a big one come on top of this? They not prepared for this virus. So how they gonna be prepared if it's an earthquake or bad storm? Who knows? I mean, all types of stuff can be going on.
And really, not only that, you got to get ready for the wildfire.
Yeah, that's coming this summer. Yeah.
And before we go any further, we got Coach Ron on here. I'm gonna get Coach Ron to give a report because he got that.
Hey, how everybody doing out there?
Good.
You hear me?
Are we doing good? State your name, what you do, and how is the COVID-19 affecting you?
Well, Coach Ron, the one and only, is here. I'm right here in world famous downtown Los Angeles on Spring and 7th. And basically the coronavirus here in world famous Skid Row, no one tested positive.
You're getting that real report.
Yeah. So we have no positive tests here. The only fear that our beloved homeless community has is outsiders bringing it to us. So, if no outsiders come in who is infected with the coronavirus, COVID-19, then we can have it. The homeless people are not traveling beyond the boundaries. They're staying within their boundaries, and they don't have it. So our only prayer request is just to keep people out. Just to keep all the people out. Everybody at the Union Rescue Mission, they got rid of all of them who tested positive, who showed signs of COVID-19.
No, not true.
They said they bust them out.
Nope, they busted the people out that were not sick. There are people there on quarantine in the Union Rescue Mission.
But they're not coming outside, though. They're inside.
No, they're not coming outside.
No, they're not coming outside. They're inside.
From what I've been told, everybody that's in there is in there. Nobody is leaving.
Thank you. So they're not coming outside.
But
none of the other missions, they're not reporting nothing. The Wine Garden not reporting nothing. None of the local businesses that operate every day, they're not reporting nothing. As far as they know, they have 0 cases from the homeless, from the house, from the employees, from the social service providers. No one has tested positive that frequent world famous Skid Row. Not 0 people except for what's in the URM. So URM, that's the issue.
Right. When they had the station in front of the testing in front of the Union Rescue Mission, some of those people that they tested didn't have the virus. But due to them being homeless without a permanent address or a phone number, they could not find those people. So what does that mean? They're down there on Skid Row somewhere.
Yes.
So Coach Ron, you're saying that nobody in Skid Row has it?
No one in Skid Row. I mean, we've been going on about 6 weeks. So 6 weeks, you got the incubation period, you got the 14-day, 7-day quarantine, the isolation.
20 people down there that have virus. Have it.
Yes.
I know 20 people down there that have the virus.
Well, like they say, they said, this is what they say. They said the test that they have not identified that no one, that zero. So I'm just going by. I'm out here every day, and I'm just saying I don't see no one, sick. I don't see no one turned over. I don't see no one cake breed. I don't see that.
I want to say something about that.
I can't hear you.
I want to say something about that. They say there are some people who have it. The microphones. They are saying that there are some people that have it that do not show symptoms at all. So you cannot say that you don't know if somebody else has it. Because there are some people who are walking around with it and are very contagious. But you cannot tell. And a lot of people who have it are not really being properly tested. So we cannot say who has it and who doesn't have it.
Well, and it apparently depends on which test you get too, because some of the tests aren't that accurate.
That's true.
It's crazy.
That's true.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
This is the Big Mike.
Okay, hello, Big Mike. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to jump in there real quick, and I just want to add on to what Mr. Beck said and Dr. Mary said, as far as being old, you're not old, you're wise. And we need that wisdom now more than any ever. This is a serious time. I'm in Bergen County, New Jersey, North Jersey. So I'm about 4 miles from the city, and things are quite real. So I would just implore anyone, if you don't want to come visit me, if you don't want me to come and take a tour of Central Park right now, as my mother would say, go sit your ass down. She put it in its simplest form. Just go sit down. Because there are 3 doors that you can walk through. And I talk about this on my show, the Big Mike Show, and that's not a shameless plug. I'm just telling you what I do. I beg people to do these things. Just stay at home. Because it's either selfish, weakness, or you're stupid. People are dying. I mean, that's a fact. Now, we can talk about all the other theories about from whence it comes. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. People are dying. I lost 2 former colleagues, 2 days ago. So, it's not for me to speculate as to why that happened or the origin. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But right now, we all just need to do as directed. And the reality is, we can't trust. My show is a political show. So we can't trust the leadership at 1600 Pennsylvania. We all know that, right? So we're already set back. So
we're set back big time.
Yeah. But we'll do what we always do as a culture. That's my point.
I hope so. That's what we got to do. Pull together.
Yeah. Anybody else want to make a comment?
Well, I know we are addressing this with education, getting updated about, how to prevent the catching of the virus, how the virus is transmitted. So, once again, if you go outside, the best thing you can do, as they say, is wash your hands. You go into your house, wash your hands, disinfect the doorknob. So it's like that's the #1 steps to preventing you catching anything. So, you know, the mask helps, but staying away from sick people, they say that's your number one issue. Staying away from people who even show signs of being sick. But if you're going to go outside, as they say, when you come in your home, wash your hands. The number one thing you have to do is wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And, you know, 99% you should be okay.
Well, I think it helps also to have some Lysol spray or some kind of antibiotic cleaning product. You know, when you bring food in, you can clean your kitchen counter afterwards with some kind of an antibiotic. You know, I noticed that, you know, we all have these cleaning products under our sinks, and many of them are, you know, they say they will kill 99% of germs. And the other thing I have that helps a lot is a can of Clorox wipes. And I use those a lot, you know, to
I use
wipe.
Clorox a lot, yeah.
The Clorox wipes, yeah, you know, you pull them out of the canister.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
you
like
just
a
use
beef wipe.
Clorox and water.
Well,
Oh,
that,
This is what Dr. Mary is talking about.
yes, right.
They're great.
I've been taking
first and foremost, what I would say is a perfect tool for us at this present point in time is not to panic. What I mean by that, going over what we're so worried about. You know, we communicate, we focus. As long as we communicate, we focus. Okay, like we just share necessities, things that we do need. You know, we kill bacteria and germs and things of that nature. It's a calm, relaxed state, mind. You know what I'm saying? You'll make things happen in an appropriate manner. You know what I'm saying? When you're stressing and it gets to you, so that becomes a distraction. So you can't even perform at the full capacity in which we need to. And then also we need to communicate with others who we know can assist us and swallow our pride. And you know what I mean? If we do need help, ask for help.
Yeah, that's true. And I know, and I have been on other calls where they do mention about the fear, how that attacks your immune system.
that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well,
There were some
Angelia,
people down there.
Angelia,
Yes.
this is something I'd like to comment on because in our area, we had 4 overdose deaths in the last 8 days in a small community. Reports of sales of alcohol are up, prescription drugs are up for anxiety medications, depression, sleeping disorders. My impression really is that the cost of dealing with this physical illness is causing a lot of psychological disturbance for people. So I think it's really important for us to focus on our mental health as well as our physical health,
Yes.
and try to stay on a regular schedule, even if you have to be at home. And you know, in our area, we are allowed to go out and walk in a park or something, but you just don't want to sit home and slip into a case of depression in the middle of all of this. And you know, you don't want to. These are also things we can prevent. We can prevent our mental health from getting any worse. So I think we, you know, all need to really focus on that as well.
Yes.
I totally agree, because I know for a fact that you have individuals that have been going to college for all these years, gotten all these degrees, and then these are the professions in which they chose, and then in a blink of an eye, they had to basically just, you know what I mean, give up their careers, get a pink slip, give out pink slips. Even their parents have gotten pink slips.
Right.
And now they basically have to go to the whole program of the unemployment, and then the unemployment list is so long, so backed up.
Not happening.
And these are individuals, sound like they peddlers, vendors, street hustlers. No, these are individuals that for the betterment of themselves and their families, and now they don't know what to do because their lack of finances to fulfill their responsibilities. And I'm not just talking about in the rich neighborhoods and all that, even on Skid Row.
I know, but we're not going to climb out of this disaster if we don't keep our wits about us. You know, if we, I mean, in the early part of this, I started to get very depressed. I was terrified. You know, we saw all these images of people being put into tractor-trailer trucks in New York City. And but I guess I decided I'm just not going to let myself go down this road. And I started to think, what can I do to be constructive? And I'm doing those things. You know, there's always something you can do. It's not always what you would want to do, but I don't know, Angelia, what do you think?
Well, I'm like you. I've been dealing with some people that have really sunken into very deep depression, and I've been working with them early in the mornings to get them motivated to do something, redo their apartment, anything. And then there's some folks that I'm dealing with that are homeless, and I'm trying to get them to go to places where I know that they'll be safe and they're distancing, and trying to find them a shelter to go to. I just sent the lady out to Pacoima, to a shelter. So that was great. But I
Auntie, you know so much embezzlement been going on though.
No.
You hear me, Auntie?
Yeah.
You know so much embezzlement been going on. All this stimulus money, all this embezzlement going on.
Yeah, it's that is one of the major things. People are like, I don't have this. No, it's a shock to some folks that have had money, had that paycheck, had a savings, to now end up with nothing. And now they like, how do I survive? How do I live? What do I do? Where do I go from here? I gotta wait to get this money. So now what?
Part of the reason, Auntie, may I elaborate a little bit further? Part of the reason why the money is being embezzled because majority of the people, like in the Skid Row community, you know what I'm saying, those that are in what's considered the rural and impoverished areas, motherfuckers ain't even going to claim it.
That too.
Motherfuckers ain't even doing the necessary things, you know what I'm saying, so they can receive that revenue.
That too. That too.
Brother B, can I interject something very quickly?
Yeah.
Okay. I think what you just said was spot on, but I just want to, if I would disagree, it would only be with the terminology because it's allowed. If it was embezzlement, you should be in Club Fed, right? You should be in prison. But and I agree with the premise. It should be that, because that's exactly what it is. But that's not what happens. See, I've been in those rooms. So this is what, they're going to kick back billions of dollars to the airlines, for example. Whether it's the airline, the auto industry, whatever, and it's just for stock buyback. And you're going to give your execs enhanced bonuses, but it never reaches the front line. So everything you just said is spot on. I just want to point out the fact that it should be illegal, but it's not. This is what goes on every day. And I'm going to say this because I do have to run, but at the end of the day, look, we have to start looking at politics beyond every. Spot on. Yeah, we have to look at we have to look at things.
You said just spot on.
We have to look at things beyond 4 years from now.
Right.
I don't have to hit on that.
We have to look at Amy McGrath.
We have to look at more than 4 years from now. Really, we got to look at what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after that.
Thank you.
Because right now, with the situations the way they are, it's kind of really dreary. You know,
It
because
is.
it's some people that think they gonna go back to work, they not. Because now there's some of these places that realize, oh, well, you can work from home, and oh, we don't need you because so-and-so has advanced and they're gonna take over this. There's some
They're going to
places
work for less.
where the stores, there's people that not working in the store. The people go in the store, buy what they gonna get, tap their card, or put the cash in the machine. You don't need a teller.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
So
now
I'm telling you, it starts with the understanding of politics. Vote. I mean, it's support. If anyone on this call is in Kentucky, support Amy McGrath, for example. Everyone wants to focus on Trump. That's a distraction, right?
Right.
And Bobby's going to help me with a show next week, wherein a 74-year-old Caucasian woman, she called it what it was. It's blue state genocide. Now, whether it's man-made or not, I don't know, but it'll be an interesting interview. And we'll try to enlighten our people, all of our people. When I say ours, I'm not talking about black. I'm not talking about ethnicity. It's all of us, because this sees no color lines, sees no party lines.
Yeah.
So, but we need to understand. We need to educate our people politically, so we understand. I'm not talking about radicalism. I'm not talking about any of that. Maintain your party lines, maintain your position, but understand the processes that are behind it. Understand the electoral college. Understand why if someone gets on there and says something that you like to hear, it sounds good, guess what? They're not going to get elected. You know they're not going to get elected. So you can't waste that vote.
That's why due process. And due process is a procedure.
That's
it. You take the necessary steps to make the things manifest. And that's what
when you were talking about the blue state genocide, that's based on the policies of the current president and the government, withholding money from the Democratic states while they give more money to their buddies and their red states.
There's that wisdom.
But
you're right.
But there is an element of self-genocide in the red states because they're the main ones pushing to get back in the streets.
Yeah, they are intentionally trying to kill themselves.
So that's red state suicides.
Yeah, I've been seeing.
At least, we can say we are aware and we are sharing. We are aware we're sharing, therefore we are caring. Give thanks and praise every day. We're able.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Adam.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Once you converse right now, it's a blessing.
Well, I know it's I'm grateful. Like I said, what I went through was nothing good about it. The other thing was I went into survival mode. And I said, if I'm sick like this, how many other people are sick like this? So I started getting stuff in my home. I'm like, for just in case. Let's get these extra cans. You know, let's get this extra cleaning. Let's get this extra this. Let's get this extra that. Because when they went crazy in them stores, I didn't have to go through that. And my daughter was like, Mom, I'm like, I said, this is why I've always expressed to you all, it's always good to have some type of preparedness because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, having a little extra something in a box or something under the bed or at the bottom of the closet, it does not hurt. Okay, because you don't know what's going to happen. And this was one of those times we didn't know what was going to happen. But it just so happened that I was ready for it. And I was thankful and grateful for it because I could not see myself outside when these people had just lost their minds and went on this state of hoarding. which didn't make any sense. Now I'm looking at people trying to get rid of what they hoarded. But I'm like, donate it to the mission. Give it to the homeless. Since you did this, you know, do it in a better way and give it back. The situations that keep coming up are horrendous. California was not prepared for COVID-19, but I also know that California is not prepared for the fires that keep happening. Now, you would think that after all these years, these fires keep coming, and you all still aren't prepared enough for when they happen. So if anything else should happen, then what? We looking at, I can't wait on you because I'm not gonna make it if I wait on the government to help me get to where I need to be. I'm gonna be dead. So I try and educate people on it does not hurt to put something to the side for when the time comes that you need it. And I have been expressing this to council members, people in Sacramento, all of that. You all are not prepared for what's going to happen. And when it happens, everybody's going to be looking stupid. And that's what happened. Everybody started looking stupid. They even say, looking at the mayor come on TV, and I'm like, you look stupid and you sound stupid. But that's you right now. Okay? I'm like, the situation is what it is. Now it's here, and my thing is me keeping myself alive and who else I can keep alive at the same time. I'm like, boom, I want to celebrate this life because I only got one, and I want to see it through. I don't want it to come to an end early because if God ain't destined for me to go, then he got me here for a reason. So I'm going to use the wits I got and do the best I can with them. And one of them is I'm trying to keep Stephanie in material because she's been making masks. And not only that, I have clothes for her also, and some things that she can use to make more masks. Also snack food and stuff like that because I had to hand it to her. She's on the front line. She's out there right ground zero. And I wish I could do that. But my doctor said no. My son, who is all the way in Chicago, who also has, he's suffering from a kidney problem because he does dialysis. He only gets picked up and dropped off. That's it. He go to dialysis, so he come home. It's no outside. There's no none of that for him. Somebody has to go and get his food for him and all of that. And I'm scared on that. I was really worried in the beginning, but since so many precaution things are in place for him, I don't have that fear anymore. I had an aunt that had a stroke. Travel restrictions. I will not be flying to Chicago. Will not be taking the train nor the bus. It doesn't go down like that. But to look at what's happening now, I'm like, what could be next? And I will want to be prepared, but not only me, I would like for some other people, if they couldn't prepare and have the things, that at least they can use their mind on how to maintain to get it and use it. Because I know some people out there who really want to not be homeless anymore, want to get to where they want to go. And I try and work with them to make that happen. But the powers that be, it seems like they don't want nobody to move forward.
Well, there's a lot of people who've given their all to the cause. I mean, they've been on the front lines. They're in those hospitals and they're working in those grocery stores and they're doing all kinds of stuff to help people. And, you know, in spite of the fact that they know their lives are in danger, that's really amazing. And, you know, how would you survive if you were in the hospital and there wasn't nurses and doctors taking care of you? It's,
Right, true. Hey, go ahead, jump in, Don.
Well, I was going to just say, one of the amazing things about this pandemic is it's showing who the real important people are and the jobs that they have.
All right.
You know,
Okay.
It's just signified to the public that we need to reimagine or take a different look at the important people in the community, because it's the bottom that's holding the top up.
That's right.
And so a lot of people have been thrown otherwise because they keep watching TV and seeing, you know, these images that are created. I was watching a video on YouTube, and one of the things I noticed is that a video can have 25 million views, you know, 200,000 views, whatever. But as soon as certain people get a hold of it, then they take it down. But why is that? Because the people who can think through stuff, and when they get information and understand that, we already understand that just because it's the mainstream media, that's because there's no competition.
Right.
And they make sure that there's only one narrative that gets put out. So you'll see in some of the YouTube videos how they're saying the same things on each local network, you know, the national networks, because they get fed one theme and that's what they run with.
Yeah.
You know, because until Trump mentioned fake news, and until this virus pandemic, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, it's never been where they would take stuff down, calling it fake news. But if you string coronavirus and 5G together, that becomes fake news or conspiracy theory, because somebody has a different thought.
Well, there are lots of conspiracy theories out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's programming. Keep that in mind. Keyword programming, please. I always keep that in mind, programming.
Well, it all adds up to, there's a lot of people very sick and dying, and something has to be done to save them. And, you know, I don't know. I think that, you know, you can believe a lot of different theories and a lot of different, just a lot of different things, all the way from religions to that the government's trying to genocide us and that sort of thing. It's hard to tell what's really true, too. It's very difficult.
That's the problem.
It's programming.
Right.
Well, I don't know about programming, but, you know, if you've been somewhere, if you've been at a car wreck, for example, or a robbery, and then you hear it on the news or read it in the newspaper, it sounds different from what you saw sometimes.
Right.
But yet, on the other hand, if it wasn't reported in the newspaper, you wouldn't know about it at all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's part of manipulation, create those thoughts.
And you can't just take everybody with that idea.
Identify with something. It makes you start to identify with something. That's programming. Makes you start to identify with something. And you choose to identify the way you identify. That's part of programming. You identify it in a way that they basically program you to identify it. That's the 3 A's: accept, adapt, and adjust. You didn't create it.
Right. But then the question has to be, why the medical people who were supposed to be professional?
You accept, adapt, and adjust. You didn't create the language in which you speak. You didn't create the words in which you speak. You did not create the definition of the words. You had to accept, adapt, and adjust. That's a part of programming.
Right. But as I was going to say, though, we have to look at, you know, the information that we have. And they've been telling us since it started, you know, wash your hands, clean your area, and so forth. But who's supposed to be more clean outside? But But hold on.
That's really basic hygiene.
No,
You want to do
hold
that
on. I'm going
anyway. You want to grow up like that anyway.
But the thing about what I'm saying is the people in the medical professions are dying too.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta
So
look at what you're seeing with your own eyes.
With
exactly.
gloves, with the mask on, with the visor. They
Right.
still getting it.
So it's not conspiracy theory when you start looking at and evaluating.
A thousand pardon. When you say conspiracy theory, what about accepting, adapting, and adjusting is a conspiracy theory? You did not create the language in which you speak. You did not create the definition of the words in which you use to categorize nor define anything. You had to accept, adapt, and adjust. And that which you did. Every one of us has. So it's easy to be manipulated by this program design.
So you have to think beyond what they're offering. You know, it's just like, you know, if somebody puts a plate of food in front of you, you don't have to eat it. You can eat whatever you want off the plate, don't eat it at all. But they're serving us up, you know, some nonsense. Because if the people who are the medical professionals are dying, and they're all covered up, and they're covered up more than we are.
Yes.
It's not right. So you have to ask. There's something more to it.
So the majority of the physicians are dying. Why?
Not the
population
majority.
Control. Motherfuckers who got secrets, motherfuckers who got knowledge. Okay, let us program the next motherfuckers and see if they gonna comply and do the shit that we really want them to do.
So what do you suggest we do about that?
Ain't no different than when everywhere America went. You know what I'm saying? All the scientists, all the biochemists, all the chemists, they grabbed all of them and they made them work for them, had them exiled, and they killed their motherfucking ass, so that they put them on a retirement plan where they couldn't even fucking remember their family.
You better wear a mask.
I understand where Dean is coming from, because my grandmother was the 22nd child out of 24 kids, and she only had 2 brothers. The rest of her sisters, out of her and 3 of her sisters, had children. The rest of them didn't have children because they had been sterilized through a thing called eugenics. They went to the doctor, and the doctor was saying that they needed these procedures done to them so that they could stay healthy.
Right.
That causes a little suspicion, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, if you do the study on how gynecology was created. It's there, and so of course, if they want you to follow certain programming, you know, they're gonna tell you what you should do. But we as free-thinking individuals have to, you know, go beyond what they offer us.
Well, another side to that too is that it's not only, even if it wasn't a conspiracy to give it to us, we've got it, but there are people who are ready for a disaster, and then they know what to do with it to their advantage. In other words, they intend to capitalize on that disaster, make a lot of money off it, control the means to solve it, and come out on the other end with big bucks. I mean, and that's at force. We see that, you know, from the president on down in this particular instance.
Don't nobody want to see that.
It's like what they've been posting, Charles important, what they've been posting in Africa. You know what I'm saying? From all the different countries in Africa. Like, we are not, we not fucking lab rats. We not mules. We not specimens. We not test dummies. We not test dummies for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Research studies, no, we're not. We are.
We all have, you know. We were,
yes, allow us
in the days of polio. We were, you know.
Every time you take a pharmaceutical nowadays, you're being experimented on.
Exactly. And we have to take them because the doctor said we need them.
Say
And,
that. But if it wasn't for the fact that you know how to, I thank God that I know how to read and write.
yeah,
I can get an understanding on what I'm taking.
damn
But
right. Education's a big thing, and we're seeing the lack of it in this situation.
Right.
Hey, you got no water?
True.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna try to wrap it up a little bit. So on the downside of this show, like, what are some key points that y'all can think of that us as a whole need to do to try to just to help one another or help ourselves? And me for one, I'm gonna start off by saying, with myself, I am really gonna concentrate on natural eating, herbs, and healthy eating. I think that's the main thing I'm gonna really try to take from it, because I know pharmaceuticals are not good for us in any way. So I'd rather do mine the old-fashioned way, is intake of the natural food.
Yeah.
So
I
go
know
down the list. So who else? I mean, I'm gonna go by the list. Who's gonna do what to get through this?
Hey,
I know.
my apologies, y'all. My phone gonna cut off very shortly.
Okay,
Go
you
ahead.
go ahead.
My
Go ahead.
phone gonna cut off shortly. I got to get another battery pack.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna start them back on with y'all. Love and respect
right.
always, everybody. Love and respect always.
Nice to meet
Uncle
you,
Ben.
Kyle.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Stay
Okay.
strong.
We'll do it again next week.
Talk with you later, nephew.
We'll do it again next week.
It was nice to meet all of you. Actually, it was a good discussion. I'm glad we got together. Thank you, Bobby.
Oh yes, no, but I want everybody on the way out, everybody just give me one thing that you want to do that's positive to help get through this corona situation.
Stay positive. Stay positive. Think of better and greater. Eat healthy. Drink plenty of water. Keep yourself clean.
Hot water.
And everything will work out just.
All right, Olusheyi, what are you gonna do?
Still practice social distancing, maintain that. Try to keep, keep healthy, because I have a treadmill in my house. Stay healthy. Just do what I have to do, and stay positive for my brothers and sisters.
Good.
All right.
I'm so sorry about your relatives.
Thank you very much.
Yes, for real. All right, Lee Beck, what you gonna do?
I'm gonna lay low and vibrate love.
I heard.
Hey, I know.
All right, Dr. Mary, what about you?
Well, I'm trying to maintain my, physical and mental health, and I'm eating healthy food, although it's not cooked that well because of my own lack of cooking skills. But
now famous.
What I want to do next is, there's a park near where I live, and I just want to get out each day and take a walk in the park and not stay indoors obsessively as I have been because of fear. I think
Okay.
If I wear my mask and everything,
Yes.
And stay away from people and practice the social distancing, that I think a walk is going to be helpful. And the other thing I'm doing is trying to participate in, share information with people and participate in formats like this to do what I can to help.
I think it's important.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Very
We need to
important.
stay in touch with each other.
Oh yes, we can do it. Yeah, I might do a message group with everybody.
Dr. Mary,
Yes.
I can help you in the cooking part.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good offer.
I don't know.
bet.
It might be hopeless at this point.
No.
You better take her up on that, Dr. Mary.
I'll have to share.
Dr. Mary, I have friends that burn water, so
I'm not that bad.
Pretty bad.
You can use a crock pot or an oven roasting bag, and you can't fail.
Well, I have a crock pot, but I would like to try the oven roasting bags more, because you can put vegetables and everything in there, which,
Yeah, you can put You could put a whole meal in that bag.
Who you calling a crock pot?
A whole meal and season it any type of way you like.
But anyway, it's been a very great pleasure for me to meet everybody in person here. Finally, you know, after so much time corresponding online with so many of you. And I just hope you'll invite me back again. I enjoy chatting with all of you.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again. All right, Don. Don H. Don H. What you gonna be doing?
You know, just helping keep the lines of information flowing through our Urban Information Network platform. We're internet streaming platform, and we talk to people all over. You know, those off the beaten path. We bring attention to information that, you know, would normally be seen or heard.
Right.
Because we have our, you know, we want to, like we're sharing here, everybody has different experiences and different knowledge. So when you bring it to the center, that's how we grow, that's how we survive. But on top of that, you know, we'll just keep, you know, staying positive, you know, looking out for one another, as well as eating healthy, you know, keeping your immune system up, you know, and staying, you know, positive. You know, you got to get more sunshine, natural vitamin D. You know, they say we eat to be healthy, but we have to be careful how, you know, how and what we take into our body. You know, and being here in Detroit, we know about, you know, what happened with the water. But see, if you notice, that's not in the discussion nowadays. So we have to find out how, you know, if this is a true virus, how it's being passed on. So everybody stay healthy and stay safe.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Uncle Dean, can you hear me? I don't know if you can or not. Okay, well, I'm going to go to Coach Ron, one and only.
Hey, everybody. What I'm going to be doing is staying prayed up and continuously to provide up-to-date, real-time information that our mayor gives us. And I'm going to continuously provide masks and food and words of inspiration to our beloved homeless community to inspire them that we can get through this together.
Good.
All righty.
We got one more, the last one, Big Mike. What you gonna be doing?
Vote.
Is it vote?
I'm gonna keep. I mean, that's what I do. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and that's what I do every day to educate people on the political processes and understand the importance and the effect on all of this that's going on. And people don't always make that correlation, but there is a direct correlation. We went through Ebola. We went through a lot of different things. We went through the bird flu and everything else. And you know what? I'm not going to drop
names.
My
age, I could go back even further to some of the things that happened in the 60s and in the early 70s.
Big Mike, how do we get your show?
That's right. Well, you can go to the Big Mike Show. You can check me out on WXIR 100.9 FM. It's out of upstate New York. We're going to also launch on social media. I'll be honest, I'm reluctant to do that, but you'll be able to find it on Instagram as well. But just look for the Big Mike, and you'll find it. But I talk about it every day. That's why my face isn't up here, because I kind of go in on politics. So I just try to stay safe. We don't know, you know. I'm keeping it real. But yeah, we need to get out here and vote. We need to educate all of our people. And everyone wants to place a connotation on that or assimilate something to. When I say I'm talking about all of us. We all need to do this.
Like-minded thinkers.
We need to unify.
Together.
Yeah, but we need to understand the process to do that. That's all. So I'm here to help. that's what I'm doing. I'm here to help those that don't know. I mean, I'm a political science major. I'm a political nerd. This is what I do. And I put in the work so everyone else doesn't have to. And I have a show that provides that. So, and through UIN, through Bobby Buck, we get the messages out or the messaging out, I should say. And, we move on from there. But other than that, stay safe.
Thank you.
Like I said, simply put, as my mother would say, just go sit your ass down somewhere.
Okay, and mind your business.
Yeah, there you go. And we have always persevered. We've always done it. So
yeah, we're resilient.
Yeah,
we're resilient.
Okay, much love to all of you.
Okay, all right. All right, man.
Guys.
Oh yeah, appreciate everybody coming on. And
Great to
Oh,
meet
more than
for this
welcome,
show.
Buck.
All the
We get ready
best.
for
Be
get ready
careful
for
out
number
there.
5. Number 5 coming next. And this is the end of this one. And we
All
out.
right. I'm sure
drop
he'll
the mic.
post something for us to be back on again.
Yeah.
If I know Buck.
Yep.